Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy to be here with you today. It's not my topic that I understand, but I understand the importance of the topic. Here, what I'm going to do is to present some findings of Balkan Barometer 2016, which are related to the topic of today's discussion. First of all, allow me to introduce the concept of Balkan Barometer. Why do we need it? Why we started producing it? As many of you already know, in November 2013, 7 ministries of economy of Western Balkans adopted the strategy C2020 strategy for jobs and prosperity in European perspective. We are in third year of its implementation. Of course, we're not only implementing it, but we are also trying to monitor the implementation of process of C2020 strategy. As part of the monitoring system, we started with Balkan Barometer annual tool for monitoring of implementation. What we are trying to do, it's only one of the tools for monitoring of implementation of strategy. And what we are trying to do is to see how people, what are attitudes and sentiments towards many of issues covered by C2020 strategy, or how the results of implementation of C2020 strategy are felt on the ground somehow. I would encourage you to go to RCC website, where you can find both reports, also the previous issue from the previous year. Balkan Barometer has two components because it rounds up views of two groups. It is general public plus business people. So we have business opinion survey and public opinion survey. Both of reports and their data sets are reachable from website of the RCC. Of course, there are a lot of things for introducing this. I do not have time for that. For methodological note, you can see from the annex of the reports. Here I would like to say only that same methodology used by Barometer is also implied in Balkan Barometer, by Eurobarometer. It's same here in the Balkan Barometer. It is also important to note that we had that public opinion survey was conducted among 1,000 respondents in each economy. We are avoiding using terms country. Instead of it, in RC, we are using term economy because of status of Kosovo. So when I say economy, I'm thinking on countries in the region. And for business opinion survey, this survey has been conducted on 20 companies for each economy again. What is new in this barometer was that we have included Moldova in other than Western Balkan countries in both components of Balkan Barometer, and Slovenia only in the business component. Our intention is to check for the similarities and differences among these economies and bring eventually their markets closer to each other. And our SG already announced 2 days before, when we had a launch event of Balkan Barometer 2016 in Sarajevo, so it is totally new still. He announced that next year we will include also Turkey within research of Balkan Barometer. I will be short. I tried to keep slides as short as possible, as simple as possible. I tried to combine some slides in order to have to use my time in the best way. But still, I would like to start with this graph. What do you think are the two most important problems facing your economy? RCC Secretary General Goran Svilanovic already cited the answers of this question this morning in his introductory remarks. And what you can see from this graph is that I found it very interesting, by the way, is that people from Southeast Europe, for them the biggest issue is unemployment and economic situation. 68% of respondents cited unemployment as the first biggest issue of the region, and 55% said that economic situation is the second biggest issue in the region. What was interesting here is that corruption has became perceived as biggest third issue in the region. it is 27% of those who opted for this respond, and last year it was only 14%, and it is an increase of 15 points or 13 points in this regard. What you can see from this graph also, it's very interesting that issues like security, climate change, problems with minorities, border issues, and refugees are not perceived as big issues of Southeast Europe. For example, in EU, what Eurobarometer shows to us, migration issue is one of the most important, most challenging issues. In the Balkan barometer, we saw that only 4% of Southeast European population perceives migrations as a big issue. Of course, when we ask them, would you like for migrants to come and work in your place of living? Situation is totally different. Only 11% see something good for migrants to come and live in their countries, in their economies. So what Balkan Barometer says is that migrants are welcome to pass by through the region, but not to stay. So as I said, these big issues that are constantly on media, security issues, border issues, migration issues, are not actually issues for our citizens. Here I've tried to combine a few graphs, and it's about the satisfaction with public services. As you can see, the options are transparency of public services, treatment of citizens in public sector, time needed for obtaining public services, again, time needed for getting information in public sector, and price of public services. Unfortunately, satisfaction with public services is very low, and compared to previous survey, we have a small increase in ratings. As you can see in 2016 in the new barometer, there is some improvement. Only price of public services remained the change, but still, if you take into consideration that these scores are on the scale of 1 to 5, where 1 means very poor and 5 excellent, this indicates that Southeast European citizens are below the average when it comes to satisfaction with public services. Here again, I have combined 4 questions in order to use my time in the best way. It's about, do you agree that the administrative procedures in public institutions are efficient? And other 3 questions which are actually related to rule of law. And what we see here from this graph is that 83% disagree with the statement that the law is applied to everyone equally. 78% disagree with the statement that the judicial system is independent from political influence, and 75% disagree with the statement that the law is applied and enforced effectively. The best score in this graph goes to the administrative procedures in the public institutions, where 37% of C population believes that administrative procedures in public institutions are efficient. When we asked our citizens, do you have confidence in the courts and judiciary? As you can see from the graph, the worst situation is in Albania and best in Montenegro. But still, if you look to the average for Southeast Europe, then you will see that only 25% have confidence, but among them only 3% have full confidence in the judiciary and the legal system. And previous year, in previous survey, 27% had this confidence. Now it is 25%. That means that in this parameter we have slightly worse situation related to this question. By the way, I forgot to say that the small letter P at the beginning of questions indicates to public opinion survey. Later, I will start with B, business opinion survey. Do you have confidence? Oh, what's the next one? Do you think that giving and taking of bribes and abuse of position and power for personal gain are widespread among any of the following? And we are now listing here, you can see many institutions which can be somehow related to giving and taking of bribes, abusing of position. And what citizens told to us is that giving and or taking of bribes and the abuse of power is the most widespread among politicians at national level. 32% of population gave this answer. At local level, again, politicians at local level, 22%. And among people working in health sector, 26%. Here we were asking them to give to us two answers, and this is the result. So politicians, both national and local level, plus health sector, are worse considered when it comes to giving and taking the bribes. And they are followed by 18% by police and people working in judicial services. Do you agree that your government fights effectively against corruption? The majority of the sea population do not consider that their government effectively fights corruption. It is 73% of them that do not agree with this statement. This is really bad indicator, but I've tried to compare this with the situation in the EU. In the EU, 28 EU countries, we have a situation that 64% of population do not consider that their government effectively fights corruption. So this is not something specific to Southeast Europe. It is worse in Southeast Europe, but still one of the common European problems. We have tried to ask also Southeast European citizens to check whether they are doing something that could affect the government decisions. And what we saw is that there is a big lack of active involvement. As you can see from this graph, 26% of entire population do not even discuss the government decisions, while 33% discuss only with people they know, not publicly. Only 6% of them protested, 4% of them commented the government's decision on social networks, and 3% participated in a public debate. And when we ask them why you are not actively involved in the government decision, those who are not involved, 50% of them shares the opinion that an individual cannot influence government decision. 22% of them didn't want to be publicly exposed, and 21% of them do not care about government decisions. Now, a few questions from Business Barometer, and I will be shortly over. The question, how much do you feel that government takes into account the concerns of businesses? Here we can see that half of population in Southeast European level, again pictured is a little bit relatively different when you look by economies, but on the sea level, almost half of sea companies agree that government takes care of businesses to some degree. But 38% thinks that government pays no attention at all to their businesses. We have a lot of similar questions or sub-questions related to this topic. I couldn't bring everything here, but if you look to that, then you will come to conclusion that business people consider that governments are not enough supportive for their businesses. Two agreements with the statement that I would like to share with you, three of them. The first one is, do you agree that information on laws and regulations affecting my firm is easy to your firm is easy to obtain? Again, scores are on the scale of 1 to 5, where 1 means completely disagree and 5 strongly agree. Business leaders in Southeast Europe region can get information on laws and regulations relevant for their company more easily than they did last year. This year, the average is 3.6, still far away of strongly agree of best score, but better than last year when the score was 3.4. So we have a slight improvement related to this indicator. Again, agreement with the statement. Do we agree that interpretations of laws and regulations affecting your firm are consistent and predictable? Compared with the previous survey, the average score was 2.9 in previous survey. Business people in the region are more satisfied with the predictability and consistency of interpretations of relevant laws and regulations. The average score in this business barometer is 3.1. So these are some surprising sides of Balkan Barometer 2006, at least when it comes to the questions related to good governance. At business part, we have still very depressed situation, but somehow small improvement compared to the last year. And last slide that I would like to share with you is that agreement with the statement. It is common for firms in my line of business to have to pay some irregular or additional payments, gifts, to get things done. For this question, compared to last year, again, a significantly greater number of business people in Southeast Europe region is certain of existence of irregular additional payments or gifts to get things done. The average score is 2.6 for Southeast Europe, compared to 2.3 in previous surveys. So in this case, we do not have a good situation. So these are some indicators that I wanted to share with you. As I said, in reports that you can download, including their data sets from RCC website, you can find more detailed information related to all these questions. You can compare all economies to see how they stand in these questions. But if you take these questions only into consideration, I think it's very easy to conclude, as RC Secretary General Mr. Svilanovic already stated this morning, that credibility of public institution is low, corruption is seen to be quite widespread, and the business environment is not enough supportive. So this is some concluding remarks for this part of Balkan Barometer. Thank you.